crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. I'm always right.
What is going on, believers? Guys, for anybody who follows me on Twitter, Twitter is down. Twitter has gone down. I wonder if it's all those people who just love and adore Elon Musk taking down Twitter for a little while in some kind of bot attack or DDoS attack. I'm curious. I'm not saying that it is. It could just be that they didn't jiggle the handle right on whatever it is that they're doing. Obvi. So we're going to give a minute or two for some people to get in here. We're getting started a little bit early, but there's a lot going on. And God damn it, I could not have been more wrong about the prediction that I made last night. Last night, I thought that the market, because all indications during the course of the evening while we were talking, all indications during the course of the evening was that we were going to have at least a nice little run. So I went ahead on Twitter. Oh, you know what? I bet Twitter came down because my prediction was wrong. Son of a bitch. I didn't even think about that. So what I said was that Bitcoin would probably run to about 20,700. And that would be by the time we got started in about 10 minutes. But guess what? It looks like we're going to be at 19,700. So that was a gigantic swing. From the moment I said that, we had nothing but great red candles in the overnights. It looks like until now we hadn't minted a green. We've minted 2 greens in the last 3 hours, but even those are not moving as far enough back in the right direction. Looks like there was a massive sell-off in the European markets in the overnight. So, that's one of those weird things where, it just tends to happen. So, what's going on, Robinson? Hope you're having a good morning. And guys, what about Floki? Floki is trending now, not just on Twitter, but Floki is trending worldwide. Just in case you're wondering, there was the what they call the Robinhood effect or something like that, and that was one of those things that happened with Shiba Inu, and now all of a sudden, the same thing is starting to happen with Floki. And you haven't seen it play out in the price action right now. And when I say that, what that means is that's an absolute buy opportunity. I'm not sure that it's going to happen, but I do think that based on what I see in the charts with Floki, that it can't break down any further. So if it can't break down any further, good morning, Newton James. Good morning, John G. If it can't break down any further, then it has to go upwards, right? So right now, Floki is trading. Let's give this a quick look at 5804. So Floki at 5804 with 5 zeros tells me that there is some tremendous sort of upside here. If you just kind of go back here and look, the Floki market cap right now is 52 million. But you can see right here that before, when the market was at least humming a little bit and doing pretty well, this market had this thing at about a 7 or 8x from where it is right now. And that was just the number that it was sitting on. You know what I mean? Like it's not, those are not even pump numbers. The pump numbers had it up even higher in the 6 and 6,400 range, touching 7,000. Which would give it a 14x from where it is right now. So 14x on 50 million is what, 700 million. So there's a gigantic upside with Floki, especially with the number of holders, with all of the things going on. I think that represents like a really good opportunity at a low sort of buy-in. So I'm going to ape back into Floki. Now, I'm not doing any more content for Floki. because they do not support me at all. Like, I put out a video and it got 100 views, and it's like I'm talking about a foreign product, you know what I mean? And like, you go look around YouTube and you don't see a whole lot of Floki videos to begin with. They just don't appreciate the YouTube effect. So, yeah. If there is a YouTube effect, that is. So they're not really into it. So I asked them about it. They were like, yeah, absolutely. We'd like you to do a video. And then I did a video, and then like they wouldn't even put it up to have people watch it. So, you know, oh well. But Shiba Inu effect. Hey Robinhood, when Floki Inu gains limelight. Hey Robinhood, when Shiba Inu became an iconic phrase after the SHIB community bombarded Robinhood, urging them to list the token. The community religiously rallied around Robinhood on Twitter and pressured them to take notice of the dog-themed token. Top executives from the leading exchange could not skip answering questions about SHIB during media interviews. Robinhood finally listed Shiba Inu on April 12 of 2022 and got the token on board, and the euphoria and frenzy paid off. Robinhood and Shiba Inu saga started with a simple change.org petition in May of 2021, snowballed into a movement. However, the Floki community is now going down the same path with humble beginnings, asking Robinhood to list Floki. A new change.org petition is doing the rounds on social media, with the Floki Inu community urging Robinhood to list the meme token. The petition has received over 500 signatures and play by the same rulebook the Shiba Inu community partook. However, we will have to wait and watch if the Floki community will create the same noise as the Shiba community. Floki investor Delia Garcia Celadon started the online petition with a target of 5,000 signatures. In less than 24 hours, the petition has received over 500. And we can take a look here, and it says Floki to be listed on... You know what? Let's just join them. There we go. So, we're not chipping in. And skip for now. I'm not sharing it. Don't care about that. Not worry about that. No. God damn. I don't like that one. So how many did we get here? $482 people have signed. So we'll see what happens with them. You never really know. But the market on Morningstar looks like garbage. You can see here on the overnights, this is where we really kind of... This is what happened last night. Philippines, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, China, everything was in the green, except you can see the Koreas. South Korea's in the red. Then you can see India is in the red. And then we got across to, it looks like that's the northern part. So Jordan, Turkey, and then the European Union was all bright red, and South Africa was all bright red. So that's where the market ended up. So that's why we didn't have any pump in the overnight. Boy, I should have looked at some indices and got an idea of what pre-market trading was going to be like. But here it is right here. This is the Dow futures that we're about to start looking at. And you can see it's down to 466. That is a gigantic tumble on the pre-market. So I don't know if we gain any back on that, by the way. That we just may be in for an absolute shitstorm. Early trading minted one green candle. We can move back to the 5 minutes, and we can kind of look at it and see that it looks like we've gone from a nice little early morning pump to dump territory, or at least sideways territory. But it does have me wondering if Twitter's back up yet. All right, looks like Twitter has been restored. And here you go. Only one WAGMI Genesis NFT left under 0.7 ETH and 34 available for under 4 ETH. Loyal supporters know that the WAGMI game company public beta launch August 1, and 10% of all game revenue is split amongst 3022 NFTs. Really split, but what's going on, Jer Crypto? It's 3022 because this takes place, the game takes place in the year 3022. And you will earn $33 per 1 million per NFT. And GameStop is launching it. It's going to be one of the first things that's launched. So I have 3 of these. So I'm really hoping that this thing just absolutely explodes. You know, I could use, like in my first month, I could use like 50 million revenue. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys, buy up, you know? Good morning. Is Twitter broken? Not for Wendy O. 16 minutes ago. So it worked for her. Doesn't work for me. What kind of shit is that? You know what I mean? All right. So we are back online here. So let's see if we can hit the button and go live. All right, and we are now live on Twitter as well, or at least looks like we might be live on Twitter as well. So that part's out of the way. So let's get into a little bit about what happened. Again, Morningstar, it gave us a really bad read. The overnights, South Africa, European, and Indian markets, the ones that we relied on for a little bit of a pump, they gave us a dump. They just went bright red. So we move on from that. Pre-market overnights have the futures at 483. Remember, this is that hangover. This is the hangover effect that we were talking about just recently when we got the CPI numbers before and we started a little pump. Well, now it looks like we're going to get that dump after all, because now they've had a chance to, what you would call, digest all of the data and really just kind of see where it was that we are really sitting and how they really feel about it. And it doesn't look like they feel very good at all. So now, honestly, we could still see a bunch of sideways trading on this. Like we may not be, quote unquote, out of the woods, so to speak. There's a lot of emptiness right here. So there's an opportunity that it could pump to 1100 pretty easily. There's also, of course, a possibility that this thing goes way, way, way down. I don't think that we're going to see that. I think that there's too much strength right now. But I mean, I suppose that, you know, we start looking back, we'll find some real good resistance levels. So when we zoom out, we look around 1150. That's, you know, maybe we fall to 1050. But then beyond that, you know, where we draw a line of support, like I don't think that we have. You know, I think that we're really in that channel right now. What's going on, Permastunt, Crypto Life, Striker? What's going on, guys? That seems to be, you know, this is going to be our spot right now. Until we start to form another one. And I don't know how far down it goes from there. Bitcoin might be a little easier to read. Now we still see the big support line is up here at the 30,000 number. We're not getting there though. That's, you know, we're one of those spots right now where it's just, there's just too much damage done to the market to take Bitcoin back up 10,000. Because we're not even able to hit 22 at this point and start to get that real good pump to 24, 25, 28, which are resistance points. So when you do that long enough, you get frustrated. When you get frustrated, then that's when you start to sell off. When you start to sell off, then you're just helping the bears, and then that drives the price down. So there we are. And it's at 472 now, and we can now go and look at my ridiculous, horrible prediction. I went 20,705 and ETH 1164, and we ended up at 19,785 and 1,087. So I was off by a lot. That was just absolutely lame. And let's go check here, 467. So we're going to be down a whole lot when this market opens in about 25 minutes. But let's go talk about this. Avril Lavigne and Ian Somerhalder. Ian Somerhalder, by the way, was Damon Salvatore on the Vampire Diaries, and more are entering T-Lab's MetaCity. Avril Lavigne is that pass around from Canada. T-Labs, an NFT incubator company, is launching its own metaverse project called MetaCity. It's the first global platform focusing on celebrities and their fans. It's accumulated over 150 million celebrity fans since the beginning of its operation. It's collaborating with notable names across a wide range of industries, from music to TV to fashion. The contracted celebrities' popularity will guarantee the project's traffic, which supports the growth of a larger community. Good idea on the surface. Avril Lavigne, the pop punk artist who filled the 90s and 2000s teenage days. Her songs, beats, and vibrant energy were contagious. She was an irreplaceable piece from all of our memories. Jesus Christ. Imagine being in a universe where you live next door to her, voice chat with her, or join her in a live concert. And they are not paying her to like hang out in a video game. That's a little much. Nothing here about Ian Somerhalder or anybody else, so this must just be sponsored by Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, sponsored by Monster Energy. I love Family Guy. Anyway, so Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high within 24 months. The CoinShares CSO says, and she looks smart. Mel Thames Demirors is bullish on Bitcoin despite the recent slump in price. Demirors appeared on CNBC's segment Squawk Box and predicted that Bitcoin would reach a new all-time high within 24 months. Yes, I did. They're sending me some assets to make a video on it. I just haven't received them yet. The CSO called Bitcoin a cyclical asset that usually spikes 80 to 90% after bottoming out in the indices. However, Demirs believes that Bitcoin is yet to bottom out and the leading crypto could face further correction. There's still room for some downward correction, she said in the CNBC interview. Nonetheless, Demirs predicted that the pain of the ongoing current bear market is far from over. We certainly expect more pain ahead for tech stocks growth and also crypto. We're talking about 10, 20, 30 billion of capital. It's basically evaporated overnight. And that's true. Like that's a lot of money. Like, guys, that's a lot of money to just evaporate and disappear overnight. Like how do you, Jesus Christ, like how do you reconcile that in your numbers? You know what I mean? Like it's getting, first of all, $60 billion in money evaporated out of this market just because of what happened with Terra Luna. And their market cap right now combined is about $1 billion. And 1.5 billion if you put UST back in, or Terra 2, you know, either way you can kind of add it back in. 1.5 billion from 60 billion. And that 60 billion was in a downward sort of correction when we were at like 30,000. It's not even like we were at 40 or 50,000 on Bitcoin price. We were at 30,000, and that's where the dump came. So like it's really, really dry in this market. But guess what? The good part is the money just moves around. So it just changed hands from us to institution. Now, We got to figure out a way to get that money back from institution, because it was said that a lot of shorts came up, and they did. Citadel made 800 million, and I mean there had to be a whole lot more that were shorting it in order to make themselves a nice lick too. So can Bitcoin reach new all-time high by 2024? When the CPI report came out yesterday, that showed inflation at a 40-year high of 9.1. Bitcoin fell 10% straight. However, the crypto market managed to claw back today and is now trading in the green at razor's edge. All these years, influencers promoted cryptos as a hedge against inflation, but the market gave the phrase a bloody reality check. Bitcoin is falling sharply and dragging the crypto market down along with it. Yesterday's inflation rate is just one among the bad news about the economy. There's much more unpleasant news about the economy to come. There's news about an upcoming recession, and Bitcoin will be the first to tank if the development becomes official. Read here to know the 3 global indicators that point towards a Bitcoin decline. And there is no article, by the way. There should have been a link there, by the way. So a prediction that Bitcoin might reach a new all-time high by 2024 should be taken with a grain of salt. It is advised to remain cautious during this period and not fall prey to ambitious predictions. At press time, Bitcoin was trading at 19,994 and was up 1.2% in the 24-hour day trade. Also, Bitcoin is down 71% from its all-time high of 69,044, which it reached in November of last year. So we definitely have some work to do to get this thing humming back. So what do you guys think? What are you going to do? Disagree. That's going to be a good one right there. This is important right here. Terra Classic hits 10 billion market cap. That will have regained. I mean, it's not a lot, but that would be 13%. If that's right, 16%. So that would have regained 16% of the market value back for some holders. And I feel like that's going to be a really good thing and a very necessary sort of thing. So yeah, I would be real happy to see. I mean, first of all, I would be happy because as an investor, I want to see that happen, and I would like to see a 10x on my investment. So full disclosure, I am still this holder here, and I'm still holding 9.92 million tokens. So I would love to see it 10x from here and turn that 900 into 9,000. So I'm saying it as a fan, but what I'm really leaning towards is that burn. Like I really, what I think the burn is the one's going to make the big difference. When half the supply is burned, then the remaining asset becomes worth 1,800. So if it goes to 10 billion from there, then that's 18,000. So, it's just a matter of the burn and the pump, all of that happening at the right time. When we see that happen, then we feel a whole lot better about the overall sort of position. And as it looks like right now, it looks like we're continuing to see Bitcoin just give back some price action here. We got a little bit of green going on, but when we start to drop to 15 minutes, we see a big red candle there. On the 5 minute, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 6 out of the last 7 candles were red. So I think the bleeding has begun. And for the last 10 minutes, we've been nothing but red. So what's going on, Crypto Twillo? What's going on, Sniff? What's going on, Cabela? Crypto Twillo, by the way, won the competition that I had the other day for guessing the closest Bitcoin price by the time of the broadcast. And for whatever reason, I just did not see it on Twitter. And so I sent him a hat, and I sent Upper Entertainment a hat because it was the right thing to do. So congratulations to those guys for winning. We did go over, by the way, Terra Luna. These are the we're going to do this again, but these are the big things that have been enabled. So this is probably really important. I don't know that we are, but I don't think it's going to be for another month or so. Like, or well, 2 weeks. We're looking for it in like a little bit over 2 weeks, maybe. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. We haven't seen like news. Let's look at the Dow news. Dow futures fall more than 400 points as traders weigh the potential for big rate hikes. Stock futures fall as banks kick off earnings season. So now we're looking at there we go. That's the number that was going to matter there. Dow drops over 400 points as JP Morgan results disappoint. That's what happened. That's why we lost 400 points, and the Fed rate hike fears bite. But losing JP Morgan, losing the money on JP Morgan, that's probably what started this little run downward. So there's Dow futures dive after hot inflation report. See, that's not true. After the hot inflation report, the Dow pumped. So that's not right. And then what we do to if I'm him, then my answer is, well, it just took them a day to figure out and parse all the data and stuff like that. Like, that's what I would say, because that's what I said last time. But the reality is, if this is earnings season and the bank JP Morgan came in and had poor numbers, then now I'm scared because that's the first bank to report. And if their numbers are not good, then that means the other banks are probably not good, just based on the way I would be getting my data. If JP Morgan's first and they're not the biggest, then there's a few other ones that are out there probably also struggling. So, that feels a little disingenuous, but I don't know for sure. CNBC says, hey, as traders weigh the potential for big rate hikes, stock futures fell Thursday as big bank earnings season commenced, and as traders assessed the possibility of even tighter U.S. monetary policy on the back of June's hot inflation report. I don't think that's it. I'm still going to disagree with that. I'm going to say it's just based on this JP Morgan reported quarterly earnings that missed expectations and halted buybacks. There we go. The stock fell more than 3% in pre-market trading. Morgan Stanley also dipped in the pre-market following a miss on the top and bottom line. So we're going to see the numbers come back for the banks, and they're not going to look good. And if they don't look good, then yeah, we can share that. And if they don't look good, then that's probably not going to bode well for the rest of the market. However, here we go. While we're having this conversation, we're about 15 minutes from the start. And guess what we're doing? We're minting another big green candle because now Bitcoin's pumping up to 19,750 from 19,007. Again, it's only 50 points, so it's not a lot, but it is something. And we're starting to see that movement. So, and let's go look at the Dow overnight before we get the real totals. Last time it was 472. Now it's 471. So there is a surefire sell-off coming when we get to when we hit the trading bell in, it looks like 12 minutes. So we're going to definitely see some downward pressure, which would apply to this market as well. We haven't seen, by the way, which is what we're really looking for, is we're looking for this market to decouple itself from the stock market. And really, it's the SPY and the NASDAQ that it's more tightly in tune with. But if the Dow is down right now, we're looking at 208 is what it finished down yesterday. When it comes on, it's going to be another 470. So that's probably not a good sign. But remember, yesterday, same thing happened, and it ended up spending the entire day clawing its way back. It's still a loss of 208, but that's when you start down like 470 and you end up down 208, it's still down, but it's not nearly as bad when you see that number. Oh, and by the way, remember we talked about Avalanche, and Matic yesterday? For those of you that were here that didn't pay attention and didn't catch me last night, if you go look at the 24-hour numbers, Polygon was number 1 and Aave was number 3, and I got a feeling Avalanche is not far behind at 8%. So the three things that we talked about, the three things that I told you were going to be probably the most important investments, they ended up paying off. Now I did not say buy, by the way. Like I didn't say that these were the ones to get into right now because I wasn't sure. But when you look at the 7-day, 25% up, 20.8% up, and then Avalanche, is it even up? Now Avalanche is down 5.7, so it's not sharing the strength that these other ones are having. So where's Solana in this whole thing? Solana is now struggling a little bit, it looks like. There we go. It's up 5.5% in 24 hours. So at least it did something. So anyway, re-enabling the staking and delegation. This means that the validators on Terra Station, the Terra Luna project, we're not going to have more validators until August 22nd. So that would indicate that whoever's in there already, those are the people that are just going to be the validators for right now. Navy Sooner, you're 100% correct, man. We're looking down off a cliff. The question is, how long can we stand there on that cliff before we really start to see that downward pressure build, and then we just jump off that cliff? And that cliff is precariously balanced right now at 20,000. Let's go look at that 1 hour. Yeah, let's zoom out just a little bit here and let's tighten this up a little bit and let's see, what does it look like on the way? So I think the number here is probably, yeah, so we've touched these and we've broken the support line, but you can see here that if you get kind of a zoom here, I might be just a tiny bit off. It might not just snap right in there, but it's pretty close. And then from here, out here, right around there. So we've got this tightening little channel right here. So we've got the makings of a real bearish sentiment right here. And the last time this happened was over here, and it broke down to the downside. So at some point, we're heading down some more. We just don't know where it is. And yeah, we do have to deal with Mt. Gox. So there we go. Roughly $3 billion worth of Bitcoin may soon be released into the crypto market as Mt. Gox is expected to distribute funds to creditors. The hash panel discusses the potential outcomes. We don't want to watch that. So here we go. Payback time for Mt. Gox investors. USDC issuers strikes back at critics circle. Chinese bank fiasco hits a nerve. So let's go look here. Many happy returns may not be quite the first phrase that comes to mind among long-suffering customers in ill-fated Japanese cryptocurrency exchange Mt. Gox, with the news that they appear finally to be getting their money back. But the exchange's victims, who were stripped of their Bitcoin holdings in what at the time was the world's biggest crypto collapse, may want to count their blessing. Their Bitcoin is now worth less than half it was just 6 months ago, never mind only a few months before that, when its value was more than 3 times its current level. But their return on investment, considering Bitcoin's price was under 1,000 US before Mt. Gox shut down, is hardly to be sniffed at. Indeed, Mt. Gox customers may prove to be more fortunate than those who have seen their holdings disappear amid the recent market plunge. Spare a thought for people who plow their savings into worthless algorithmic stablecoin Terra, and others whose funds are tied up in other recent collapses involving Celsius, 3 Arrows, and Voyager. Even notionally safe bets such as Circle's USD coin are not immune from concerns over potential trouble ahead, with lots of FUD over holders seemingly afforded no bankruptcy protection for funds the company has loaned to strategic partner BlackRock. In an exclusive video interview this week on Forecast, word on the blog, Circle's CFO Jeremy Fox Green stated that if every customer wanted to redeem USDC for USD, funds are reserved and available. So that's what we need to hear from USDC. And we've heard a lot of, by the way, I hear a lot of negativity about USDC, but I feel more comfortable with it than I do with USDT right now. And I really don't have a problem with USDT other than, people make videos and have conspiracy theories about them because they are offshore and not in America. And you never know what their accounting firms might be doing, and are they being paid to lie to the consumer? So I don't know if that's the case. I assume that it's not. That's the way I see it, but I really don't know. But even notionally safe bets, here we go. And meanwhile, in China, investors in more traditional finance sector businesses have hit headlines protesting and clashing with authorities over the freezing of accounts by 4 rural banks in the Henan province. Want to become famous, buy followers. That's not how you. Oh my God. Is this the craziest shit you've ever read? Give me 1 second, guys. All right. Oh, that's one of them Twitch bitches. That's what it was. Yeah, now I gotta go all the way there. Fuck that. Oh well. So anyway, so we're looking at this pattern right here. This is the one that's emerged. This is the one that's going to break down to that downside. And this is the one where we're going to fall off the cliff. Now, if you remember, we talked about this a couple days ago, and we had pointed out that we had really broken that support line right there. And remember, we were breaking it hard. And then it kind of came back in line. I think when we were doing that, we were probably looking, because like as I look at it right now, I'm not comfortable with that line being where it is. Like I feel like it was a little bit up here, and we had broken the support here because it had been quite a few hours. Yeah, so I think we were breaking out right there where we were just down. But we got back into that support line, but we're trending on the bottom of it. And when you're trending on the bottom of it like that, then the end result is definitely going to be that we're going to break to that downside. But I also said that until we get to that point, like we really can't confirm, and we really don't know, and we're making a guess here. But it's entirely possible still to see this thing bounce back up and test 22 and 25 or 22 and 23 before it goes back down. So I mean, we can still see something good happen. I'm just not sure. Like it's very difficult to gauge. And when you look at the 2 hour over here, by the way, here's something that was really good. Yeah, believe in Volt, man. So here's where we were just a little while ago, and this is the sad part. Like, because like we were chugging along, we had passed over the 48 EMA last night, and then boom, everything was just gone. And now we've gone back under the 48 EMA. You go look at the 2 hour. We just a drink of water right over that. Yeah, but we're gonna guess down on this one. A 4 hour barely touched it. So, we really had that EMA in our sights, and we were really in a good spot. I mean, look what happened here when we got over the EMA yesterday. It just was gone. The whole thing, the whole market just started moving until it stopped, of course. But that was a big move. Like we started right here. We did our crossover at 19,595, and then it ran itself up to 20,393. So now, bad part is here. We look at the weekly chart. Not even close. And by the way, when you look at the weekly chart, you can't even see that channel really happen. You're just seeing long term. You're just seeing that downward sort of pressure. This is from the all-time high right here, by the way. This is what we've had for Bitcoin since then. And where are we at here? Put that on the edge over here. That right there, what you see right there, that's Bitcoin this year. That's all it's done. And that's by week, by the way, which is why there's so few candles. It has done nothing positive, just gone down, down. So anyway, get that back out here. So we're hoping for something good. The Dow is down 461 points, down to 30,311. Are we going to lose 30,000? Like that would be that's going to be a really bad sign if we lose 30,000. 30,284. All right, so we're starting to see now it's starting to bleed over into the crypto market. Now we're seeing that everybody just woke up and saw, oh shit, here goes the number, and here we are right here, down 500, down 496. We'll move this down just a little bit because that's going to be the active one. Look at that. That was a massive sell-off to start. And then there is the 3-minute chart. And you're seeing basically the same thing, a little sideways action. So we got 15 minutes, 20 minutes before it recovers. Pancakes or waffles? Pancakes. I think I like pancakes better. Like if I'm forced to make that choice, it's definitely going to be pancakes. Yeah, it will go up, Dark Knight. We're going to see it go back up. Like it's not stuck at the bottom. So, there's good opportunity here for it to make some correction and start moving back in a positive direction. anytime you see a dip like that, people are going to quote unquote buy the dip. So you're always going to see some of that. But at some point, it's about breaking that line of support. And this is our line of support, so to speak. This little channel here that we've got drawn out, like that's that little line of support. And the more we break out of that to the downside, the more likely it is that we set a new pattern to that downside. And that's why we end up in those bad straits. That's why we end up in these bad situations, because we don't hold these lines. This line is trending upwards. So what we would hope for is a continuing move towards that upside. And if we don't get it, then yuck and gross. You know what I mean? Spunk. Oh, God. All right, so the Dow's bleeding a little bit harder as the day starts to move on. So, yeah, we're going to need a big recovery, or we're going to start to see a lot of downside action, which will bleed into crypto, and then it's going to bleed everywhere for a little bit. These earnings reports, the earnings reports from these banks are probably going to cause a problem. We might be looking good soon. The UK economy grew last month by 0.5%. Oil is down. Russia willing to get Ukraine wheat out with help of Turkey. Yeah, that's the issue is that Russia is willing to take the grain from the Ukraine and profit off of it for themselves. So that doesn't end very well, because that's part of the occupational strategy. So you really don't want to see that. But we'll see how it plays out. This guy needs to just buy some spunk on ETH. All right. Guys, by the way, I'm not into I'm not a person that's buying these kind of tokens right now. So if you're talking about me, no. Not that I have anything against meme tokens. I am invested in every single one of them that you see on this screen. But getting into more of them is a big no right now. Matter of fact, I had some people and other influencers who wanted me to get in on Saitama V3, the one that's giving back USDC. And, I talked to the developer. He's got a KYC done. He's a disgruntled old Saitama holder. There was a whole lot of stuff that, he was just giving away USDC every hour on the hour or something like that. And no, I'm not doing it. Speaking of which, Saitama was at 31 last night. It's at 31 still. This, by the way, is one of those things where you can make a decent amount if you're a Saitama holder, or if you're somebody who wants to make a buck and you're doing swing or day trading. You can see here that they got this line right about there, and then this line right about here. However, that also means they've got that bear pennant happening right now. So what it feels like is that they're going to break further to the downside, Yeah, I'm not getting a Tesla off of Saitama. I pulled my money from Saitama, by the way. I pulled out. I was up when I pulled out, so I ended up making out to the good overall. But I mean, like, really, at one point, and my number, like, I put in $700 back last year. So when it was all said and done, I pulled out like 3,300. So I went up 5, a little under 5x on it total. But if I had just pulled out a little bit before, then that would have been, look, I could have pulled out at 35,000, ended up at 3,500. So it was a big miss. All right, so the support line is starting to break down on Bitcoin. So that's what it looks like on the short term right there. What's up, Jason? How much did you lose? I mean, of course, you don't lose anything unless you're, I mean, you haven't lost anything unless, you cash out. But man, oh man, oh man. All right, let's go look at this friendly ghost. Is that going to be ETH side or BNB or what? Is it this Casper right now? It's a big red candle. No, that hasn't been trading for months. Oh, 40K. There's somebody lost 40K on Saitama. Ugh. Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen the ape coin theory, by the way, I mean, go check it out and just kind of, feel it out and see if it means anything to you. Look, there are a lot of look, see these helmets right here? Just because these helmets are like Nazi related or something like that, it doesn't mean that these guys are supporting Nazis, right? Like these are like bikers do these and stuff like that. And there's all kinds of little symbols. But the problem with the symbols is that a lot of these symbols or the symbolism is also like meme culture. So I'm not really sure that I buy into all of the stuff that they're talking about with the Bored Apes. I don't really think that it's what these guys are alluding to, but by the same token, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So maybe, I mean, maybe they did. I mean, the whole thing. Look. The whole thing about the Bored Ape Yacht Club is, I don't think that I can't imagine that this entire group is doing that. I mean, but sometimes, like, look, let's do this. Let's just do this, okay? Florida man, Fish McMuffin. Hey. Sometimes things are just funny. Here. Sometimes things are just funny. You know what I mean? Dumb. Here, some things are just funny. If you go over here to like meme generator, if you want to create or do memes, let me log in here. I have to log in with that account or I'll die. But you can take these and then you can go down hot memes right now. Some of these things people will end up finding offensive. Sometimes memes are offensive. It doesn't mean that somebody, like everybody in here who's putting a silly meme or something like that together, they're not a Nazi and they're not a Nazi sympathizer. So, sometimes there's just a poor representation of what people think is funny. And listen, Dave Chappelle should be a perfect example of how people get it wrong. One of his best friends was a trans woman who committed suicide and died a few years back. And then, one of his specials tells the story about it. And instead, the trans community went just absolutely bonkers on him. And then flash to some of the stuff that's coming out about his new stand-up special, like Dave Chappelle Presents or something like that, or whatever you call it. What are the new Netflix is a joke? Dave Chappelle's Netflix is a joke. And then he starts talking about it, and like he says some crazy stuff, but it's not really against trans women or the community or anything like that. We're seeing a pump on Bitcoin, by the way. Even though the Dow is dumping, we're starting to see a little bit of a pump on Bitcoin. But I mean, like, he's just making a point, and that doesn't make him a... Look, two things can be true. I mean, I think the funniest thing that I ever heard him say in relation to that was he said that Caitlyn Jenner, as a trans woman, transitioned, and then a year later, Caitlyn Jenner won Time's Woman of the Year, which just means that a man in 1 year was better than every other woman. So that sounds sexist, but what he's really doing is pointing out the obnoxious sort of, oh yeah, we have to give him an award for being a woman, just for being a woman. Like, like, that's crazy. Somebody's got, and you have to be able to say, you have to be able to see that kind of shit is just out of control. Like, that's nuts. So I don't have any problem with the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So I don't know if this goes back in the trend line, though. I think we've broken to the downside, and I think that, like, we're really just kind of popping in here for a cup of coffee each time and just coming back down. Like, we have to have a pump of some sort. Otherwise, people are just going to stop and no longer, like, we're going to end up either up here hitting that green again up here, or we're going way down. But also, nobody better talk shit about me in that Twitter post either. Because sure, I was wrong. Sure, I was vastly wrong and completely off and not even close. 19,007 versus 20,007. So I was way off. 1164 to 1,082. Maybe I was just a little bit off here. Maybe I was way off here. But I think the important thing to recognize is I don't care. It happens. So we're still seeing the Dow Jones continue to dump. We saw a little bit positive in the last couple of minutes after the big sell down. So, we might see a little bit of correction. Now, I wouldn't go that far. Because I am sure that from a certain elitist perspective, I was close enough. You know what I mean? So I'm just not prepared to say that I was wrong. And then, to the good side, everything over here is still in the green. And look at Shiba Doge. Like, Shiba Doge really wants to run right now. And if you guys remember, by the way, Shiba Doge, even though, look, it's having a nice little pump right now and a nice little run. As you can see, going back here for a little bit, it's been having a nice little pump. Haven't seen it in the wallet, by the way. So when we're, pamp that shit down just a little bit. But, from 42.39 up to 1,000 is 100%, 10% on the day, 22% on the month. This line of support right here will be a good one to get to, but this is also going to be some serious resistance that's going to prevent them from pumping. You can see here, they're already struggling they went sideways when they hit this level, which is a resistance level. Then there's a tiny one here. Then there's a little bit more here. Then, of course, we get to this, and that's going to be a big one. So to get back up there, it's going to take a little bit, but 20 million market cap. All right, so here's what you missed about XRP. Yesterday, the judge in the case went just absolutely bonkers on the SEC. So the SEC has been for a long time seeking to prevent Bill Inman, who was the former head of the SEC before Goldman Gary, the head of the SEC, the former head, Bill Inman, made a speech, and the SEC has argued what they argued is that his speech is not representative of their policy. Those are just his opinion. That's just his opinion. That's not factual, and that's not an example of SEC policy, right? So then we take the odd swerve, because it turns out that not only did he give the speech, but he had the legal counsel for the SEC approve his speech. So now the SEC has to explain in court how Bill Inman, the guy who's in charge, who sets the policy, wasn't setting policy, and how the legal department of the SEC, whose job it is to sue people for violating the policies, told him that his speech was okay. How is that the case? And that's not their policy. So, this is basically like, this is basically Shaq slam dunking on a baby at this point. So that stuff is just getting out of control. No, I'm good. Man, I am tired. Anybody else feeling tired this morning? Maybe it's just Chicago right now. So 19,750. Looks like we're recovering on the Bitcoin price just a little bit, getting a little bit of a pump out of it. Delete zeros. Yes, it's going to make moves. We're gonna have. Look, this is a down market. This is a product, by the way. Delete zeros. No disrespect to you, of course. This is a product that takes time to get to market, and it's still in the beta phase. So their moves, by the way, are not the moves of a typical crypto. The way that Shiba Doge is going to move is they're going to get listed on an exchange. The way Terra is going to make a move right now is to get listed on an exchange. The way Volt, all of these tokens, they're going to get listed on exchanges, and that's going to move the token. Or they're going to release some kind of little product, and that's going to that's going to move the needle. WAGMI has one big product. They have a game that they've developed that is going to be part of the GameStop environment. That's going to be hosted, or partnered with Immutable X to lower the fees to make it not cost you a lot to play the game. They have a path that they forged, and it doesn't involve a whole lot of centralized exchanges right now. They have what they have, and their money was invested in making the best game they could possibly make. So that's why you're not seeing the same sort of price pump. Remember, every one of these price pumps, delete, is artificial. I mean, go look at anybody who got who was the last token to get a good listing. Oh wait. Oh, let's do this. Just because I can't help myself, let's go to Cult. Right? This is where Cult DAO was, right here. Okay? This is where Cult DAO was, right here. This is where they were when I said they don't do anything. This is when I had videos, and I'm like, Cult DAO doesn't do anything. Like, I mean, what the shit, right? And then they got listed on KuCoin, and then they came after me. They were like, we're on KuCoin now. What do you say to that? They got a 70% run. Right? Good job. They're down 10% on the week. Where are they? So they not only touched that number that they were at for a little bit, they created a new floor less than 100 points from where they were before. So what did they really accomplish with KuCoin? Nothing other than this pump. Now, the only thing that you gained from this pump is if you were in here at 1,005, you gained 70%. And if you bought at the top, if you sold at the top, which doesn't mean anything, but if you bought down here and you sold at this top, then you gain 70% less whatever their fees are, which about 10%, I'm assuming. So you probably made a 50% profit. So if you put in 1,000, you pulled out $1,500, and that was it. That's it. Now the price is all the way back down. Now let's go to the day chart, because I just can't help myself. And let's go look back here at everything else. Tell me how that's not Saitama. Now, if you're a supporter of it, fine. Tell me how that's not Saitama. See what I'm saying? Like you just, because you get an artificial pump when you get one of these exchanges, and then it just doesn't last and it doesn't sustain. Here's what sustains. Now, we're also still going to use another token. We're going to use SHIB. And we're going to do it on the day chart. Cubs and Terrarium. Here we go. Cult can also tell you that it at least kind of looks like SHIB. except SHIB has a $5.9 billion market cap. So, the market always retraces. This is where we started. It retraced. We had this big run up, and then this is where the new line was. Then we had a big run up, and then we had a massive run up. Then it all ran back down. This became the new line, but then after a long period of time, it broke down and put us back right here. I mean, like how you really kind of look here. This is a little bit down, but really over time, SHIB is trading where it was trading about a year ago, just a little bit higher, but it's trading where it was a year ago. Why? Shibarium's not released yet. All of these little things that it's produced, like what is it called? SHIB Play, the swap, Shiba swap, all the little things that it created took the value from down here to up here. But still, this is the market going crazy. But here, like, what is this? This is, where is it? February? Yeah, February 11th. So this is the Robinhood pump right here. You know what I mean? Like, the Robinhood pump leads to a downside, and then it's just like everything is just down. Nothing lasts for a long period of time. The best thing that you can hope for is, I mean, dare I say it, the best thing that you can hope for is a situation like Volt has, where it has a really dedicated community of holders that are actively seeking to keep the price at a high level. But I mean, look, this is where Volt is right now. That looks exactly like any other token in this market right now too. They're just holding a higher price action. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so, by the way, today is the day on Volt. Just so everybody knows, today is one of those days where, let's go over here. Why do I have... Here we go. Failure is not an option when you Volt. We are going to launch new buybacks before the dragon starts to Volt tonight at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is right now. We'll buy back 30,000 worth of Volt on ETH by matching every buy 1-to-1. These tokens will be kept in our treasury. So right now, this is the moment where shit start to get serious on Volt Inu. So should be the day. I mean, I think it's the day. So, we'll see how it plays out, but maybe we're here and maybe we'll see a nice little run. But remember, depending on the number of people that it brings in, it just creates a new floor. And Saitama V3, I think so far it's been, okay, but it doesn't have a use case. There's no reason that I'm going to be invested in it, unless Brad says, here, have 1 million tokens. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be invested in it. Because it's not a use case. It's not something that I'm into, but also don't begrudge anybody because it looks like people are getting paid USDC. Everybody that I know is a big fan of it right now. It's just not for me because I'm not making those investments. I'm not adding to any bag. I'm not adding to my Volt bag. I'm not adding to Terrarium. I'm not adding to anything. So like, I'm just out of the market except for Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, because look, I've been through this before. I'm not going through it again. This is millionaire making time right now, right? And I already have enough money in those bags. It's time to make money off of these, and then maybe get down here and make a little bit off of this, make a little bit off of this. You know what I mean? Like, make my money in the altcoins and the Bitcoin market, and then from there. By the way, I'm going to be going on these too. Avalanche, Polygon, Aave is going to be down there a little bit, but same thing. Like we're just going to make plays on that during dips. Try to see what we can do, make some money. I've already got a big bag of WAGMI, already got a big bag of everything, so I'm just sitting quietly, patiently waiting. So my 9 o'clock button hit, so my time is up. This is not financial advice. My name's Bleaves. I'm always right, and you guys be very careful today because it looks like we're going to have quite the dip. Look, we're at 607 on the Dow, so it's going to be a painful and possibly and potentially brutal day. Could also turn around at any moment, so we'll see what we see. but today is bank earnings, and they're probably not going to look very good. So be careful in your investments. Don't get wrecked. We'll talk to you again for bedtime tonight.